All right, weekly options traders, let's go ahead and get airborne with our weekly options live trade brief. Good to see everybody. Had a great week last week in weekly options that we'll debrief here, and we'll talk about some stuff. Shockingly, we might not be doing anything this week, and I'll tell you why, because it is getting a little hypoxic up there. All right, so did everybody have a good week last week with our two SPX bull put spreads? Everybody, and I never, this urgent alert here, man, I never got filled on the SPX urgent alert, which sucks. Yep, thanks, Fish. Good, yeah, so guys, we had two winners. I actually put out an initial one, and I talked about this, how small trade, but it worked. Hey, Silvana, small trades become big trades, right? That's how we grow. Fish got a winner. Good. All right, Richard, good on one, not filled on the other. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this last week, folks. You didn't necessarily need to, I would not have done both of those. You don't have to double up on those. But here's the teachable moment out of this is, and I remember last week I listened to the replay again. There's some nervous people in there that as soon as I put this thing on, it was down $600. Again, the Obama teachable moment is you got to relax with weekly options. Okay, it's very, very fluid. And especially in this under this administration and this guy with a cell phone and a Twitter account. So, Kai, what is your issue? And you should be able to get through. If you're not getting through to support, it's on your end. Annie answers every email immediately. Did you get a response that says like, "Hey, we're going to get back to the intent"? If you didn't get an automated response, then you're using the wrong email address. So, Keith up 40%. Yeah, Al, a day is a lifetime on a weekly option. Ray closed out early when you said and made a couple of hundred, but doing great for the month. Ray, I love seeing that. Mark, close weekly for a good profit and still holding urgent alert in for a good profit. Kai, yeah, take it offline or give Annie a call. If for some reason she hasn't gotten back to you, that's not Annie. Trust me. So you can call the number up there, 754-300-1084. Not sure what your issue is, but Annie responds to everybody immediately. So we did the 2280, 2275. Gave you my strategic mindset last week, and then I said in the in the session, or I'm sorry, this was the initial one, the 2285, 2280 that I got filled on, and the market was going down a little bit. And what did I say? I'm like, it's fine. We're going to go right here, guys. I said, what? We're going to go up. It's time for another leg up. And maybe I will change my call sign to Nostradamus, because that's what we did. So really, really good, really good call there. We've had some great weekly options trades. I mean, hell, even, we did that Friday session, and I said, hey, I don't tend to trade weekly options over the weekend. If you had sold that bear call spread on that Friday, that one would have, and I know a couple of you did. I saw in the chat box, like, hey, Whiz, I know you don't trade them over the weekend. I did, and it turned out to be great. So I guess the teachable moment on that one was maybe we can start trading weekly options over the weekend, because most likely if something does happen over the weekend, it'll be a bad thing. I haven't seen too many, quote, good things over the weekend. Is this what a rip your face off rally looks like? Perry, you could call it that. This is why I most likely, with Apple at historic highs, it's not like I'm going to throw an Apple trade on. We'll look maybe at one, and the SPX, the same thing. This, you see this right here after the election, folks? That's a rip your face off rally. Eventually, there will be some profit taking here. Now, what's on the flight schedule this week? It's kind of important. And Jim will talk about maybe a bear call spread, but maybe not. Kai, I traded a butterfly over the weekend on SPX and closed this morning for $5,000. Nice, excellent. But here's on the flight schedule for the week. The Fed chairwoman, Ms. Yellen, has a Harry, SPX almost 50%, bought at $1.15 now, 65. Thanks, Whiz. You got it, man. Nice little profit. We have her, what's it called, Humphrey Hawkins testimony this week. So Ms. Yellen will be talking in front of the Capitol Hill there. So that could potentially move the market, obviously. Wednesday's chock full of macroeconomic data. CPI, which is inflation. Core retail sales, whenever you see the word core, that means X something. This is excluding autos. And the Empire State, the cap rate, industrial production, National Association of Home Builders, another Fed lieutenant speaks, crude oil inventory. So Wednesday is chock full of stuff, man. And it might be a little market moving. So my inclination, and then look at this, Thursday, building permits, the Philly Fed, weekly unemployment claims, housing starts, mortgage delinquencies. It's a big macroeconomic week. So I didn't see that much China data. No, there's nothing big on China. Well, tonight, sorry. CPI, PPI, and their trade balance. So here's what I'm getting at is this is a tough one because I've been eating my own dog food all the way since back here, and we've been right. This is a little one. Obviously, I'm cautiously bullish, and I beat that cautiously. Now I'm starting to get little bullish, all caps, cautious, because I think we're going to have one of these. The problem with this right here is predicting it. Okay, so for everybody that's new to weekly options, I think all of this made sense, right? That's December. This was, 3 guys on the floor in between Christmas and New Year's trading 2 shares, low volume pullback. And then this is the holding pattern going into the inauguration, the, oh my God, immigration ban. And that was a flash in the pan that the market worried about. And then I said, we're going up. There's no reason for us to be going down. Having said that, right here, folks, nobody rang a bell at the top of this thing right here and said, ding, 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 that's it. Let's take a little bit of a breather and pull back, okay? And as a matter of fact, for all the people who, even that 2-day flat period right there, I thought was going to be a little bit more profit taking after that, and it wasn't. What I'm getting at is a very long explanation to, long road to a short house or however that goes, is I think long-term, whoever asked my short, long-term, or whoever that was, let me give you all of it. Obviously, long-term, you have to be bullish. This guy's phenomenal for the markets. The tax that, the tax thing is, I don't know what it's going to be, but guess what? The Khan from Goldman Sachs is the guy that's coming up with his tax thing. So solid earnings. And you're right. Whiz was what? Mr. Sourpuss for the past 5 of 6 earnings periods because they standard Wall Street earnings. You can't hit the ball over the net, lower the net. So, and then rising commodity prices, okay, and fresh hints at U.S. tax cuts. What were the fresh hints, man? I mean, we got it from the president. What's a newer hint? So, John, what's your thinking on big profits on long call diagonal? Still have long time to run, thinking about taking some profits. John, let's cover that tomorrow in Primary Live Trade Brief, and we'll stick to the weekly options. But, hey, man, quick detour is, Mike or whoever it is, was up 135 grand on Goldman Sachs. Whiz, pigs get slaughtered. I closed out $65,000 of it, and I'm letting the rest of it ride. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. But the answer is I still think we have room. This is going to run, folks. What I'm having a problem with today, as I've been looking for trade ideas and talking, on the phone to people and Skyping, is how much, how much risk do we want to take when the music stops? And notice I didn't say if. The music is going to stop. It stopped there. It stopped there. So again, looking at whoever said, hey, what about a bear call spread? I'm like, you don't want to step in front of this market. Remember, and this is a big Whizism, man, and it's written in blood because I've been there, 2 decades ago, kind of stupidity. You trade the market you have, not the market you want. Obviously, the market I want is going up. We have a lot of longs, and like John just asked, those long call diagonals that are printing money. I mean, this is the urgent alert and weekly options model portfolio. Look at our JP Morgan trading here. It's up 25.5. It's crushing it. It's up $6,000 right now. Now the Goldman Sachs trades are doing great. Disney, all that type of stuff. So I'm inclined to see how the rest of the week goes. And remember, we just don't have to put on a weekly options trade on a Monday. It's just when I tend to do them. So, and a lot of you guys who are veterans here have seen me put out on a weekly options trade on a Friday, that expire, or I'm sorry, on a Thursday that, expires the next day. So we don't have to force a trade on a Monday. I want to see how this week settles out. Exactly, Benoit. Never step in front of a freight train. Fish, looking to take less contracts, SPX call vertical, worth the risk reward this week. There you go. David, it would be nice to have a 2 to 3% to load up. Bob, yeah, the North Korean thing, Trump was down here, playing golf with, with Abe. And then Kim Young, whatever the hell his name is, lights off a bottle rocket. There are world issues that are really starting to bubble to the surface. Iran's lighting off bottle rockets again. So strategically, we'll brief this tomorrow on the primary live trade brief. It's a big deal. And Kai, that's exactly right. The other reason I'm inclined to sit on my hand with an SPX trade is what's this week? This week is expiration. So the last, if we were going to look at an SPX trade, the last day for us mortals to trade it is the 16th by the closing bell. Why? Because the position closes, it settles with the first opening print of all 500 stocks on the S&P 500 Friday morning. Okay? So, and maybe I'll use it, this time for some training, because I've gotten stuck here before a long time ago. No, I had a trade maybe in the past year that did one of these where I couldn't get out of my SPX. I forget what it was, bear or bull. And I was on the mercy of the overnight gods, right? Please, China, don't do something, or please, one of these. And the next day it opened up, and it was luck, okay? It was not skill. But I've had other ones where I'm at the mercy of the Thursday night gods, please. And then, S&P opens down. That's what one of them was. The S&P opened down like 5 points, took out my trade, and then rallied the rest of the day. So important Obama teachable moment. I know somebody said Obama's gone. I just like saying that. Remember, the 3rd, the 10th, and the 24th of this month, the SPX options expire at the closing bell on Friday. Okay? But options expiration during options expiration week for SPX, just write this down, Thursday at the close. So technically we're already one day into a potential SPX trade. But let's at least take a look at the chart. I looked at Apple, but I mean, Apple's up here. Let me go to Apple real first. But the bottom line, guys, is especially after five out of 6 winning weekly options trades, we're printing money in the weekly options portfolio. And sometimes I love my, war games analogy. Everybody remember that movie from the 80s? Sometimes the only winning move is not to trade. So, David, that's true. David has a good, maybe the market sells the news on the announcement of the tax plan. Exactly, because that's a good point, David, because it looks like we might have pulled forward the tax pop. That's why I put on this, or tried to put on this, this bull put spread in the urgent alert, and I didn't get filled. If you're in the urgent alert service, you're looking at this is out to March 3rd, guys. I would look at, and you guys know I hate talking about other portfolios, but I got to be honest with you, what's that, 65 times 15? I mean, if you made $1,000 since I put this trade out on Thursday, there could be a sell on the news with the tax plan. That is an absolute possibility. Because remember, folks, the news is already out there on the tax plan. He said something huge is coming in 3 weeks. What if it's not huge enough for the market? What if the market kind of shrugs its shoulders and says, So that might be the one, this type of thing right here, like, eh. And they did get this wrong, though, with the whole sell the inauguration. I'm like, no, buy it. The guy, in the first 2 days, he did more than Obama did in 8 years. And then the immigration plan. So you have to be very, very careful with this tax announcement. That's why I put it on out to March 3rd. He said, hey, we have 2 to 3 weeks, and you guys are going to hear something huge. So it's a very good point. We might actually get a little bearish around there. Benoit, March 3rd seemed far out. Benoit, I just looked at the calendar and said, Trump said we might have something coming in 2 to 3 weeks. Knowing Washington time, and Trump's already running into this. Repeal Obamacare, replace Obamacare, do this, do that. And now in interviews, he's like, yeah, maybe 2018. And he's starting to run into the reality of Washington. I mean, Sean Hannity and Matt Drudge, last week hammered the president and said, fire all the Republicans again, just like, the last time they won and promised to do everything to stop Obama. They didn't. Now you have some folks on the right who are really like, hey, man, let's go. You have the momentum, do it. So, well, Chuck, that's kind of what I was about to say is this urgent alert trade that I put out is kind of the weekly that I would do or am doing. So this might just count as our weekly options trade. Harry, that movie was in the early 80s. Thanks for the age check. Exactly, Harry. I was just a kid. I'm using the urgent alert. Yep, Chuck read that. So let me go back to Apple, though. So short story long, I'm not feeling an SPX spread, either bearish or bullish. Not bearish. Why? Because don't step in front of a train, just like somebody said. You don't want to be the one. A lot of people get broke, folks, trading their gut and trying to pick a top. That's the lesson here. Don't do this, okay? When it's kind of chopping around doing this and moving sideways, great. Try and pick a top. But when it makes that move, don't. It's just like, our long call diagonals, with protective puts or synthetic stock. What do I do when I say something is on a tear? Get out of the way, man, and enjoy the ride. If you're not in the ride, get on it. But with weeklies, the get on it can end pretty quickly, is what I'm saying. It can end with a tweet. It can end with in everything. So, I'll take a look at the at-the-money straddle real quick. But this is the only other trade I was potentially looking at with Apple's 1% move was an Apple right here around the 130. That's a significant technical, mental spot for Apple. So let's take a look at that. VXX worth a shot. Chuck, too short a time frame. And I got to be honest with you, Chuck. What is out there that is creeping you out that you're going to get long vol? Okay. Al, hey, up $5,900 from the first of the month on weekly trades on 20,000 risk. Starting to think it might be time to watch. Al, you're feeling what I'm feeling. Brad, got out of the Amazon trade. Thanks. You're welcome. So exactly, guys. I'm glad everybody's feeling a little like I'm feeling. Like, hey, man, we've banked some serious, and it's February 13th. But the only other thing I was looking at in my idea bank here was the 130. But I mean, that was pre-market, and we're already up 1% here. Yeah, there's no to get anything out of this. Out of a bull put spread on Apple. And again, I don't want to put on a bear call spread and throw a dart and put a top on it. Let me just look at something real quick. And again, I'm not throwing darts here, man. I'm just playing around. So the bottom line is I'm most likely going to sit on my hands this week for all the reasons I stumbled through. Relatively high probability trade here, the 133, 132, but we're already up $1.47 today. This momentum in Apple would need to be sustained. And I got to tell you, man, Comedy Central, Fox Business, and Comedy Central have been just pounding all morning about how Apple and record highs and this and that. That's usually when you get a little bit of running out of steam, consolidation, and then up again. So that's the benefit of all the portfolios here at TGO. We have a retirement one, we got a weekly, we got the PLTB, which is a mix. You got Doug which is ones and zeros and spreadsheets and all that stuff. And even though we might not be placing a trade in one, we got trades in others. So that's what I'm doing. The SPX kind of urgent alert almost counts as the weekly, even though it's in the urgent alert, because this was, and even that is giving me a little, and I didn't get filled, guys, at all. John, now somebody just asked about VXX. Now it's too short term, and look at the VIX, guys. We're getting, that was in my notes. Thank you for asking that. All right, here's the cool part. Here's a good training session today. Are you ready? Market up, VIX up, something is up. And if you're new, and I know we have some folks in here on 2-week test flights, write that Whizism down. Market up, VIX up, something is up. What's up? Nothing. All right, well now, Whiz, you're making no sense. Well, here's the method to my madness. Something right now, in this type of rally today, traders are kind of walking, away from the market going, pay no attention to me, just going to walk over here to the VIX closet and grab some protection. Okay, I'm back, bidding the market up. This is a little bit of a hold your nose rally. This is the other reason why I'm not going to trade the S&P 500 this week, is because the VIX being up when we're having a triple-digit day on the Dow means people aren't believing it. Okay. Tamara. Tomato, I will answer to it all. Tamara, speaking of get on the wagon, how do those of us that joined 2 weeks ago get into some of your longer trades? Thank you. Tamara, tomorrow. The primary live trade brief and accelerated retirement, if you're in that, and urgent alerts are where some of the longer term trades are. We trade the front months and all the way out to Jan 19, for example. So that'll be tomorrow morning, Tamara, in the primary live trade brief. We'll take a look at maybe even getting long Goldman Sachs again or whatever. But Tamara, and for all the folks that are relatively new, remember, here's your homework before you come to the primary live trade brief tomorrow, is you need to go to your member section and look at the training videos right there. See that? Member content, training videos, and watch the video on the long call diagonal, okay, with a protective put. That's a must watch before tomorrow. Why am I telling you to do that? So I can have more time tomorrow to go through each longer position and go yes, yes, no, maybe, okay? I don't want to spend 20 minutes, 25 minutes going over a long call diagonal, okay? Amazon, maybe a trade for the week. You got a bull put on there, Al, 50 cents. Juan, some analysts mentioned 2335 technical resistance point for the S&P, 2335. Juan, I don't know where they got that, man. Again, I'm not a technical trader. They just they put stuff in lines and all sorts of stuff. I can see that, and I get when they do, but this thing, man, charting this is pretty hard right now. And again, as a chief development officer for a hedge fund, when we're looking to, in our weekly call this morning, it's like, where can we deploy new capital? There's a lot of places. Look at that run since November, man. Now, a lot of you became members because of me making the great calls on all this stuff to the left, excuse me, to the left side of the chart. Then you should trust me when I say, I'm like the old man when the storm's coming. My knees are getting a little achy, which means I don't think there's a massive storm coming. I don't think there's a massive pullback coming. I just think we're going to see one of these. And whoever said a nice 2 to 3% pullback would actually be pretty nice. So we could maybe reestablish some longs. But now let me bring out the whiz in me, so to speak, and say, how the hell do I know there's going to be a 2 to 3% pullback? How do I know that next Monday we're not sitting here and this thing is up here, and we're doing the shoulda, coulda, woulda, put on a bull put spread or something? I got that, but I don't look at it like that. I look at it as sometimes the only winning move, especially after we've had a monster February and January for that matter in weekly options, is to hang out for a second and not force a trade. It's going to be very volatile with the Fed chairwoman talking, Humphrey Hawkins' testimony, all of this macroeconomic data, guys. This is the other reason I'm a little, going to sit on my hands this week, is how does the market digest news now? All right, Wiz, that meaning this. You guys know the Whiz term, bizarro market. And if you don't, and you're one of our newer folks, here's what that means. Before 2008, the financial tsunami hit and killed all of us. Good news was good news. Hey, the cap rate, great news, market would go up. Bad news was good news, and awful news was great news, meaning when this financial tsunami hit, if we had bad economic data, what did that mean? Ben Bernanke, I got to keep this quantitative easing going, another $85 billion a month. Shove it into the market. So now I'm trying to figure out if we're getting back to 2008 market where, wow, that cap rate was a miss and the market goes down. Okay. I think the Fed chairwoman will get 2, maybe 3 interest rate increases this year. I think that's what the market, the next meeting, the Fed funds futures rates is like 0.01% odds of her raising rates. So stocks will continue to go up. The buybacks, Trump's tax plan, who knows what it's going to be, but I like the sell on the tax plan call. I agree with that. Whoever typed that earlier, I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to happen. Okay. So should we be worried the VIX is still on the downside? Well, Harry, you don't necessarily use that as worry. You know what you use that as is a good barometer that the market's not seeing any risk. And look at this. The VIX is actually up, 3% today. So it was below 11, right? Where are we? Friday. 1085 was the low. 1085, man. We're in the 10s. North Korea is lighting off nukes that can reach our troops in Okinawa and Guam. U.S. forces and families are in threat of a new North Korean nuke. China. Abe said something yesterday about all these islands in the South China Sea and the Chinese aggression won't stand, and Trump agreed with it. And China said something today like, oh, that's very troubling. You don't want war in the Pacific. Oh, great. Here we go. Been a little quiet on the Putin front, which worries me. The National Security Advisor, Mike Flynn, is about to get clipped. He's going to be the first one to go in this administration. So there is, Harry, to your point, there's a ton of things out there, but the market isn't pricing in a lot of risk right now. It isn't. For what's going on, that's why I said I'm bullish with small, lowercase, and cautiously is all capitals right now. Okay, and being cautiously bullish right now does mean you should be getting long ball. Okay, a VXX bullish double vertical. And whoever asked about why is VXX down today when VIX is up, remember, first of all, ask Doug. He'll give you an hour, literally an hour lecture on this. But remember, with the VIX, you're trading the futures, folks. You're not trading the actual volatility index. It's puts and calls in the S&P 500 30 days out, but it's the futures. The way the VXX is calculated, it ain't that. The VXX is a derivative of the VIX. So here you go for our geometry people. You're trading, or algebra, calculus, one of those things. You're trading a derivative of a derivative. Why wouldn't you just trade the derivative? So here's what I'm getting at is, Harry, VIX is up, but UVXY and VIX, exactly, guys. So you're trading a derivative of the derivative, which it's like dividing by fractions, right? It's like makes my head tilt sideways, like the RCA dog. And yes, I'm old enough to know the RCA dog. So at the end of the day, guys, I know this was kind of like a 30-minute sit rep or Monday Market Outlook, but that's what this is. I'm not forcing a trade this week. We've printed money for the past, since January 1st, folks. The weekly options, man, have been crushing it. There you go, Fish. So Fish just closed his March 3rd, this bull put spread I did over here for a nice 40% win. There you go, Fish. That trade hit Fish's level of get outness, and he got out. Andrew, VXX has to buy and sell new VIX futures each month. That's exactly right, Andrew. That's why VXX goes down. If you look at a chart of VXX, it goes all down. Cash or flat is a valid position. Well said, Lisa. Lisa gets a gold star for the day. I like the way you said that. So If you're no kidding just sitting there itching for a weekly options trade, you have me worried, okay? You should not be itching for a weekly options trade all the time. And that's one of the things I say about this service. I'm like, I don't know, maybe 1 to 2 trades a week, and sometimes 0. This is a 0 week because I ain't feeling it. And that's why TGO just isn't one service. It's a lot of them, because in AR, accelerated retirement, or PLTB, all these other trades are just disgusting. Holy crap. So, all right, let me end weekly options real quick, and let's just go over to PLTB. So no weekly options trades for the week. If a couple of you chatted in there that you did both of the SPX bull put spreads last week, hey man, you fly and fight in your own jet, congrats. If you did the 15 contracts on each one of those, that was $3,400, almost $4 grand in profit on about 10 or 11 grand in risk. That's what, a 35-38% return. So let me just look at this real quick. So as we sit on our hands this week with weekly options, we can do this. We can always come over to the PLTB and smile and say, hey man, not forcing anything this week. I'm just going to go over here and look at my longs and smile. I just love coming in and looking at our Goldman Sachs trade. I love when people just sit there. So my trade that I put on in December is up 10, almost 11 grand. What a great trade. We got a lot of good stuff going on here, folks. Love it, love it, love it. And again, I'm not going to turn this into a PLTB here, but just I'm sitting on my hands. You can look for alpha wherever you want, but Benoit, I would add that being in cash is also a money management decision. That's what we tell our clients. You're exactly right, Benoit. Chuck, is there anything out there you believe is the tipping point to this market? Doesn't seem anyone is concerned over central. Chuck, I got to be honest with you. The Fed's almost like irrelevant now. We know that we'll get 1 to 2 to 3 rate increases this year. The Fed's slowly going to the back burner there, Chuck. The only thing that I see bringing this market down is, like, I don't know, underwhelming tax. That maybe it is a sell on the news. Like, we're building up this tax thing so much. He's going to slash, and corporate profits are going to go up because they can bring their money back from County Cork, Ireland, where Apple's storing all their money. And it underwhelms. But I don't think the market crashes on that. I think, Chuck, the biggest risk to this market is not economic. I think it is a world event. Okay. Are we out of the Amazon 800, 795? Jay, I never got filled on that. It was in this portfolio, and it's not in there. I didn't get filled. If it's up and it's got some serious profits, and get out of it. Mr. Z, we'll talk about FXI tomorrow. Yes, it is time to get long China tomorrow, FXI. Harry, I'm spooked with everything going on with the end of March. Some Islamic laws changing, and they're supposed to flood the market buying gold. Can you explain? Harry, that's news to me. Goldman Sachs up through today, up 763%. Wow, Scott. Yep, JR being in cash is a position. Matt, tomorrow worth looking at the XLI to cover the tax plan exposure. And all right, David, I'll take a look at that. He can bring income tax down to 10% and inheritance tax down to 0. Benoit, that would really help this market out. So, all right, guys, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to keep you much longer because we'll run into the made 90% on Amazon. Thanks, bro. You're welcome, Rob. There you go. I'll take a look at the XLI, David. I appreciate that. I'll look for article and post in the rating room. Thanks, Harry. So, guys, like I said, no weekly options trades. The VIX is up. The market is up. Something is up. But if you're sitting there going, well, if something is up, Whiz, why don't you sell a bear call spread? I don't step in front of trains, guys. I either stand on the platform and watch, or I try and grab onto it. And sometimes when you try and grab onto it, your arms get ripped out and it hurts. And sometimes you might just wait for the next train. So let's wait for the next train as far as weekly options. Let's focus tomorrow on all of our expiring positions in the PLTB, and we should be good to go. Okay? Savannah, I also made 90% on Amazon. Bang! Nice job, Savannah. David, cheers. I like the holdings. Thanks, Whiz. Good call. You bet, guys. Fish, great start to a wonderful week. Time to work out. Me too, Fish. Let's all go work out. Keith up 65% on Amazon. Dennis, something is up. Yeah, the economy. You're welcome. Good, Benoit. Awesome, guys. All right, so everybody is kind of feeling the same way, which is good. Trust me, I red team this. It's not like our group think is right. We could all be wrong, but I think we're all kind of feeling the same way where, hey, man, we've had a nice couple, we've had a couple months of crushing it with weekly options trades. So let's just sit on our hands, and if something changes on a Wednesday afternoon, maybe to talk this market down, hell, I'll fire out a bear call spread. Folks, some of our weekly options trades we've closed out in a day, so there's nothing saying I won't put one on in a day either. But at Monday at 136, we're just not forcing it. Okay, feeling it, smiling at my longs. You got it, Scott. That's right. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. I'll be back tomorrow in the primary live trade brief when we talk about all this stuff and where we're going to deploy our capital for the longer term and maybe even a couple front month trades. Okay, so have a great day, and God bless, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.